hard work, toughness. They talked about his ending life in maybe how long ago was it, Mom? Maybe 7 years ago. He was not ill 7 years ago. His wife had passed, my grandmother had passed. He was fine. He was driving his car. He fell in his apartment. Laid on the floor so he's 93. Somebody do the math for me. How old was he at that time?
87.
87 years. He was 87 years old, living on his own in his apartment. He fell and laid on the floor for 5 days. 5 days, scrounging for his life. And then finally one of his brothers, Deacon Merrick, found him because he would check on him. Bang, kicked open the door and jammed the church. And found him. But after that, he still lived. So he was tough. 5 days on the floor at 87 years. I just want you, again, me and my friends are now 87 years together. I'm 41, you got a 42-year-old here. At 84, 87, he's laid on the floor for 5 days. Toughness, fought in the war. He told me stories when he used to be in that tank in France, and he said he would just hear the bullets hitting the tank. Bing, 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 bing. They're just riding through, on their destination to whatever they were doing out there. But he was in a tank in Europe, in 3 or 5, or whenever he was there. Bottom line is toughness, hard work and toughness, loyalty. And he's married to my grandmother for over 40 years. Over 40 years. I'm married for coming up on 8. And I'm like, oh my goodness. She can't hear me right in the church. I can't lie. I'm telling you sometimes if I think about the lessons that he put out for 40 years. 40 years of marriage, 40 plus years of marriage until she passed. So you talk about loyalty, working with people in the church, being involved consistently. I know every Sunday he was here. I know he was doing all the things that it took to be the chief, top, head, deacon, whatever the pomp and circumstance you can get. He was attaining to that, and he was doing it through work, through loyalty and being there all the time, consistency. Leadership. Well, we know leadership. We know the leader he was. An out front leader and a quiet leader. When he entered it, there's a picture when they were doing the thing of he and I, where he's kind of in front. And just his stature, his strength, his power. You could feel his leadership when he entered it. He walked kind of with his chest out a little bit, not bold, but just you could feel the power of his leadership as he entered the room. You knew it, and you knew it. That's why he hung with Lowe, Reverend Lowe. I heard Reverend Lowe's name so much at the house. Reverend Lowe this, Reverend Lowe that. Oh, Reverend Lowe's going to be out of town. Reverend Lowe's got this going on. Reverend Lowe. He was not a pastor. He was not a reverend. But his leadership and his power was one that gravitated towards leadership because he was a leader of himself. He led our family. He was the rock. Amen. He was a leader. Leadership. And he taught me to be a leader. So since that now, I have over 50 guys that I employ and all these other things that happen. It's all due to him. I could have figured it out on my own, I guess, but he laid it out. Leadership. Amen. Pride. Now, nowhere in the church, and we hate to hear the word pride, or we don't hate to hear the word pride, we scorn the word pride. We look at the word pride as something that's wrong. How can you be proud? You need to submit. So, his philosophy was, like Deacon Wyatt said, the Lord has blessed me with so many things. And you know what? I have worked hard with the Lord and for these items. I'm proud of them. I'm not hiding them. I'm not buying the latest Cadillac every 3 years. I'm getting the powder blue. What color? Oh, you don't have the powder blue? I'm getting the powder blue with the white leather interior. That is what I'm going to do. Why? Because he worked hard for what he had. He deserved it. He put the effort in. He knew the Lord was on his side. He didn't have any problem speaking about what he did, speaking about who he was, and then putting that out there so people could see this is what I've earned. Also, he respected the things that he had. So although you might have saw, the car and him driving up looking good, before he left, and I can say this as I'm standing here in front of, the reverend in the church, he wiped down, he would leave 15 minutes before we came out. He would go out to his car. He would pull the cover off. He would wipe the whole thing down. He would make sure it was good. It was immaculate. And that was his ritual because he respected and honored the things that he had. He honored it. He would take time. If there was a scratch on it, he knew everything about his car. And the same thing with his clothes, the same thing with his dress. Some people would call it prideful, maybe he's trying to showboat. But if you knew the care that he took behind it and the efforts that he put into it, you knew that he respected what he had. He wasn't taking anything for granted. He was proud about the things that he had. He had earned it. He also taught me to appreciate, well, we talked about that, what I had. But from a historical perspective, like I said, 93 years old, he grew up in the South. He told me, when we were complaining, you become of age and you start figuring out that you're black. And I don't feel, I'm being harassed. And, this is apropos for what's going on right now. I'm a youth in Baltimore being approached by the police and, oh, grandpa, I don't like this, and they're hounding me, and we had a nice car and all that. And he would say, look, you need to appreciate where you are right now. When I was your age, if there was a barrel placed on the street, and if I walked down this street and a white woman passed me, I had to put my head into that barrel until they walked past me. So he would look me in my eye and say, so, you got a nice car. I don't care. You don't have a reason to complain. You need to appreciate where you are. Now push it forward, but appreciate where you are. So he always laid that perspective out. He had a great sense of what was going on. One, because he was always in the church and he was in touch with the youth, and the youth always, they feed the elder generation and allow them to give back. He didn't shy away from that. I know there's a picture on one of these things where he's with some of the young ladies from the church, and he would always adopt a niece or adopt a daughter, that kind of thing. He stayed in touch with the youth of the church. But anyway, appreciate what you have and recognize where you are. Get involved. A lot of the time he would, and this was as an NAACP, and maybe the Urban League was starting to dwindle out as far as being as popular as they were. He and my grandmother, you gotta join the NAACP. You gotta get involved. You can't let this thing stop. You must be involved. They were card-carrying members. All the things that came in, when they send you to have donate, they always donated. They always had a check to give to this organization, to give to that organization, and encouraged me to get involved all the time. And was always involved. Obviously in the church, we're going to have referendums and various, signed things, and his legacy will be archived here in the church. I'm standing here right now talking, and there's two deacons just looking directly in his casket. He obviously was involved. He wasn't just somebody who came in. I know that because a friend of mine recently passed, who was our age, who we had to scramble to figure out what to do with him. We just kind of had it at a funeral home, and it was, it was what it was. People die all the time, but I'm saying that this represents involvement. This represents involvement. So he was involved. He encouraged me to be involved all the time. The seventh thing, this will be the last thing that you guys can take, and I hope you're taking this because this was what he taught me, and it's allowed me to be who I am. Is prepare for the future. You gotta prepare for the future. There was no shortage, just monetarily, of, things paid up. And, 15 years before they even thought about dying, when they were both walking around, and just enjoying life, they paid up all their funeral expenses. They paid for this. They wanted to make sure that they were thinking about the future. When it was time for me to go to school, there was money available. I don't know where it came from, but they had saved money. Remember, my grandmother used to give me savings bonds all the time. I don't understand. I don't want a savings bond. I want, G.I. Joe. I want Transformers. I want toys. Like, we give you the savings bond. Cash those jokers in when it was time. 15 years later, he cashed them in. This is what I mean by preparing for the future. This is because they come from an era where they had to think forward, where they were laying the foundation and the groundwork for me and us, because a generation of people prior to us, to be where we are. Amen. Laid it out. So to be prepared for the future, it's up to us, me, my comrades, those of us that are still feel that breathing here, to prepare for the future, to push forward. Yes. You have to. And these are the things that he instilled in me, and I didn't get it until he passed. And as he was, if we talk about him in his final years, he lived okay, and we talk about preparing for the future. The gentleman in the back